What's going on, everyone? Welcome, Rabid here, and today I'm going to be showing you the absolute best way to be mining Monero. This is going to be the most decentralized way and the way Monero was meant to be mined day one, and that does mean you're going to be running your own node. So I'm going to be going through the setup process to setting up your own node as well as linking up P2Pool. So let's start off with the node aspect of things. Why mine to your own node? So a node is a copy of the complete Monero blockchain. It's the same thing for any cryptocurrency. In this case, we are dealing with Monero. So you have a complete copy there. That means if any other nodes go down, yours is still live, which means the chain will continue to survive. That's why more nodes online, more decentralization, and the harder it is to take down a network. So running a node is step number one to decentralizing a network. So once you have that going on, usually when you mine to a node, you're going to have to be solo mining. And when you're solo mining, that means you have to go up against everybody else, and it's really hard to hit that block depending on the hash rate that you do have. So that's where P2Pool comes in. And this is not a traditional mining pool where you're linking all your hardware together to find the same blocks all the time, and it kind of distributes to everyone. In this case, with P2Pool, everyone is running their own node, adding that decentralization, and all the P2Pool nodes are linked together, and you guys are all kind of pooled together. So it's 100% decentralized mining to your own node with all your nodes actually linked together to try and come together like a traditional mining pool. But unlike mining to the pool's nodes, which adds to more centralization, you are decentralized on your own nodes, if that kind of makes sense to you guys. So before we get into the setup process, you're going to see me add some stuff to a bat file and stuff in Windows here. And I just want to show you exactly where I'm getting all that information so I don't copy and put it into the description. A lot of it could get blocked or something like that from, whatever happens there. So we're at P2Pool here. The website is P2Pool.io. You simply go into the get started here. And if you go into set up Monero Node, you can see this line right here. So you're actually going to be putting this into your bat file. This is what I'll have into it. You'll see it once we get started, just showing you where the information and stuff is. And in this case, it says out peers 32 and in peers 64. If you're like me with crappy internet and your upload is actually less than 10 meg, you're going to want to change it to this one, out peers of 8 and in peers of 16. That's for slower internet connections. And also you're going to want to open port. It does say optional, but I do recommend you guys open it in your router. You're going to want to open port 18080 as it shows right here. So that you do that inside of your router. Every router is different. So if you're not sure how to get that done, you can go to portforward.com or something and look up your router and it'll tell you how to get that done. But make sure you do get port 18080 open prior to setting this all up. Also, if you are low on hard drive space, you can also add prune blockchain into your bat file, and that will not download the entire blockchain, just everything you pretty much need, and it'll help keep the space down, actually making it 3 to 4 times less disk usage. Right now, I think Monero blockchain is sitting around 200 to 250 gigabytes if you want to download the complete thing, which is the best way to do it. Now, the other command prompt that you'll see me have inside of my P2Pool to run that bat file is the command prompts to start it is right inside the P2Pool README when you download P2Pool. And this is this line right here, depending what you're doing. In this case, we'll just be using this, but merge mining is now available. I'll do another video and trying to link the two together for Tari, but this one here is strictly for Monero only, but you will be adding this if you wanted to merge mine Tari. And there's other coins that are releasing for merge mining as well, but currently the Monero blockchain only supports one other merge mineable coin. So maybe in the future we'll start to see 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maybe it'll turn into a Litecoin with all those other script coins on top of it. But right now you can only mine Monero with one other merged coin. So keep that in mind as well. But again, this guide is for setting up Monero only. All right, so let's get started on what you need to download. And if you're unsure, Monero is mined on CPUs. GPUs can do it, but they are absolutely horrible. They get hardly any hash rate and they use a lot of power. CPUs are ultimately the ASIC of Monero. They're not an ASIC, but compared to a GPU, they almost seem like it. So CPU mining only when it comes to Monero. So you're going to need to download some things here. P2Pool right here is your Monero CLI or GUI wallet, whatever one you want. And obviously the latest release of P2Pool is also on the P2Pool website. You can get everything you need right here. So that will bring you to this website. So you're going to download either the CLI or the GUI wallet. I'm utilizing the GUI wallet, so that's what I downloaded. And then also we got P2Pool here. It looks like a version just updated 17 hours ago with some of the Tari stuff. Again, we'll be doing that in a different video. This is to show you how to set up Monero. So make sure you download your versions for Windows here. So in this case, Windows zip file right here. And then for it comes to the Monero node, click on Monero GUI, and then you got the Windows. You can either do the installer or the 64-bit zip file right here. I like to use all the zip files. That way I can put everything and name all the locations where my stuff is at. So once you get everything downloaded here, you can make a little folder like I did in nodes, and now you can see Monero, P2Pool, and Tari. So the first thing we need to come into is our Monero right here, Monero GUI, and then we're gonna start syncing up our node. So in this case, start Monero node. I made this bat file. If you're not sure how to make a bat file, simply come in, right click, go into new, and then we're gonna make a text-rich document. Click on that. Now we're gonna name this Monero Node Start Video, just so I know that's what this is. I'm going to take my Monero node config here, and I'm just going to copy this complete line here, right click, copy, close it out. Now I'm going to come into the file we just made. Remember, I'm copying everything pretty much from the previous website that I showed you before, and I went to print that. I don't want that. So we're going into edit here, and I'm going to paste that in. So let's just kind of expand this so you can see what I got. MoneroD.exe, that's just the exe to start my node. This is all those commands I showed you from P2Pool. I'm using the lower, less than 10 megabyte version. As you can see, my peers are cut in half. We got adding our priority nodes and everything in here. And this right here, I changed my data directory because it wanted to go into C drive, and I wanted it into F drive, exactly where I am right here. You can see nodes Monero, Monero GUI. So --data-dir space, and then the drive, and everywhere you want it to go. This is where it'll download the data for your node to save. That way I have everything together. So once you have all that set in, pretty simple here. We're going to have to save this and make the bat file because right now it's just kind of a document. So we're going to go to save as here. We're going to go down, go to all files, and at the end of it, just hit dot period there and put bat. Make sure you are under all files because we need this to become an application at this point. So we're going to hit save, close it out. Now you can see it should have adjusted right here, and now it's a Windows batch file. Now all we're going to do is simply double click this. At this point, it's going to say it's loading into wherever you want it to go. By default, it will go into your C drive, into your app data or something like that, and then it'll begin syncing the blockchain. As you can see, I'm almost synced up because I already had this one going myself, but that's all you really got to do. So now you just wait for this to sync up. Once it's in sync, load up your GUI wallet, make your account and everything like you normally would. Then you can point your GUI wallet, make sure you use advanced mode, and then just point it into your node here so it reads it and understands all your blocks and everything. All right, so I'm in my daemon settings for advanced mode. It says start node automatically in the background, recommended. I just went and browsed till I found where my blockchain was downloading, where I set it all, and that is right here. So I'm simply going to hit next, and now it's going to say wallet name, all my good stuff here, restore height from 1, mainnet, create my wallet. I am using my ledger. Now I got to put in my password. And now I got to go to my ledger and tell it to okay everything. All right, so remember, you don't have to use a ledger. That's obviously probably one of the best ways to do it is using a hardware wallet, but you can just make a new wallet at the start or anything. You can see it's waiting on daemon synchronization to finish. If I come into my daemon, you can see we're almost there. Not quite. We're sitting at about 99%, 860 left. So once that is done, it's slowly starting to get the wallet blocks right now, but we won't be able to get all the latest heights until that daemon is in sync. And one thing, just to confirm, you are actually running your wallet from your node and not some remote access or anything to a remote node. You can open up your node and simply close it, and you will see that it will lose its connection and synchronization after a few minutes. So let's just wait here for a couple minutes, and it will, shut everything down. So you can see here your wallet blocks remaining paused. It's no longer counting up depending on how far along your node was synced. So if I can actually come back into here, and I'm going to go back into my plotter, nodes, Monero, GUI, and I'm just going to start my node again, close this out. And you can see it will begin kicking in the blocks remaining again. So that's one way to test if it's actually running off your node or not. All right, so we can now see you are now synchronized with the network, and it's going through the block list, all that stuff. Anyway, we're fully in sync on our node at this point. Our wallet's going to take a while to do that, but at this point, you're good to go. We can begin P2Pool. So now I'm going to open up my browser again. I'm going to go to my plotter here. I'm going to go to my nodes, and I'm going to open up P2Pool. And in this case, we're going to do P2Pool start. So I'm going to right click and edit this so you can see exactly what's in here. Here we have P2Pool.exe. Here's your host 127.0.0.1 and then our Monero wallet right here. Now there's two P2Pools. This is the default P2Pool. There's also a mini. So if we go -- mini, this will enable mini mode. And the reason to use mini mode, it's like a lower difficulty. So if you're running around 40 kilohash or less, you're going to want to use mini. And if you got more than 40 kilohash, maybe 100 kilohash, 200, 500, 1 megahash, 100 megahash, whatever, then you will not want to use mini because you will make the hash rate difficulty way too high for all the smaller miners. Use the standard P2Pool if you have over 40 kilohash of hash rate. So at this point, we're just going to make sure I didn't change anything. So I'm just going to close it out. But you do the exact same thing that you normally would. You come into here, make a new file here, text-rich document, name this P2Pool start video. I'm just doing that for video purposes. And we're going to open this up. I'm going to copy my settings over. And if you want to see the merge stuff, actually, I'll just show you right here for Tari merge mining. Remember, I'll do that in a different video. But if that's something you're trying to jump into right now, it's the same command. But at the end, you're going to want to add in this -- merge - mine Tari. And then the same thing, port 18102. And then your Tari wallet address. This will enable merge mining on the Tari network as well. But again, this is for Monero. But a lot of you guys are probably figuring out how to get merge stuff into it. So this is a line you're going to have to add in for your P2Pool start. So anyway, I'm going to come back into here. I'm going to grab my P2Pool start here. And I'm just going to copy all this, which I already have. And remember, all this stuff can be found in the documentation at P2Pool right here. So right there, you can see P2Pool host. Remember, this is Windows, so you're going to go P2Pool.exe. And then this is the exact same thing I'm pasting in right now anyway. So coming into here, start, edit this, paste that line in like so. And remember, we're going to go File, Save As, and we're going to make all files here. And then make sure you do add .bat to make that a file that you can actually utilize like an application. So we're going to save that like so, close that out, and now we're going to run our P2Pool start video. Click on that. And now you can see it's loading everything up. It's going to take a few minutes for this to kind of sync up. Yeah, it's, you'll get some errors at first, but right now it's reading all the information off your node. Your node might pick up something here. Yeah, it's going to be saying this while it's syncing up because it can't find the transactions that's currently up to date and everything. This is normal. Ignore it. It's working. Just let P2Pool do its whole loading thing. Then once that's done, it should stop. It'll start verifying blocks and everything. And then we'll be pointing our rigs towards it. All right, so while P2Pool is doing its whole sync up thing and everything, you're going to want to start setting up your miner so it's ready for when it's done. And then you're also going to need to find the IP address to mine to. So you can come into your search bar or anything down here, go to your command prompt like so, and then just type in ipconfig. That will give you, scroll on up, and that will give you need your IP4 address, which is this guy right here. So we're going to be pointing our rigs to 192.168.1.115. This is for me. Yours is going to be different, but it's your IP4 address, which is your local IP. It's okay if you see this because this is just on my local network. It's not my external IP. So that's where you're going to point your rigs to, and you're going to be using port 3333. So that's 3333. So this IP with 3333 as the port. So close this thing out once you're done. It looks like everything is synchronized here on P2Pool. We got to get our rigs pointed to it now. All right, so we're going to come into HiveOS. We're going to go to our wallets. Now, you don't need a wallet because you configured your node to already mine through the wallet address, but I like to have it all just in case, you just want it there just because. So we're going to add coin and ticker here. We're going to go XMR, paste that in, paste your wallet address in here. So insert whatever your wallet address is. Enter name, whether it's your Ledger, Web Wallet, or GUI, or whatever. Actually, in this case, it can only be your GUI. So either your Ledger or your GUI wallet or CLI, whatever your wallet name you want to name it so you know where it is, put that in there and then simply create that coin. At that point, we're going to come into your flight sheets here. We're going to set up a flight sheet. So we're going to click on this. We're going to go XMR. Click on that, pick our wallet here. Here's my Ledger wallet. Pool, we're gonna scroll down and configure that in Miner. We're gonna be using XMRig new, so XMRig new, and then name this Monero P2Pool video. So again, I'm putting video in this so I don't mix them up. This is for showcasing to you guys. And we're gonna set up our Miner config. So in this case, wallet template, wallet worker name, we're going to go huge pages, yes. We're going to go wallet configuration, yes. And we're going to turn on our CPU. When you're using a custom pool and stuff, this is off by default. Make sure you turn it on. If you pick the default pool, it should be on by default. But always check on this because people have issues all the time. And it's just because you didn't turn your CPU on. So make sure this is turned on. Now we're going to need our IP. Now I got to remember what mine is. All right, so I think I remembered what it was. So 192.168.1.115. Then you put your colon in here and then your port 3333. So now we're going to scroll down. Apply changes, create that flight sheet, and there we go. So there's two ways to do this depending on the size of your mining farm. One is simply come into a rig, go to your flight sheets here, and then just scroll on down. And here you can see this is the latest one we just made. Or right here, I guess, Monero P2Pool video. So we're going to click on that and it'll send that rig. The other way, if you have a larger farm, is you can simply click up here, get rid of all the rigs you are not using at the moment by unclicking them. Like so, like so. Scroll on up. We're going to go to this rocket ship right here. Pick XMR. Scroll all the way down to the bottom. We can see wherever it is. XMRP. Where we got to find the one we just made here. Testing for video. Oh, great. I have so many different ones here. It's going to be a pain to find it. But you get the idea on what it is. So I just got to find GPU test here. Monero. Oh, here we go. Monero P2Pool video right here. So I'm going to click on that, hit apply, and now it's going to send all of these rigs at the exact same time over to my P2Pool. You can test that by right here. It's going to start sending jobs. There you go, 1 to 7. And it should be, actually, it's only going to be at 39 because I'm running my workstation right now to record this video. But usually I'm around 40 rigs or so. So as you can see, it's getting new jobs from all the other rigs and sending it to P2Pool. All right, so you can see all 39 rigs are here. So now you can go to the P2Pool dashboard. So just come into P2Pool here, go into the pool, and then you can see right here, statistics, P2Pool observer. If you click on that, it'll open it up, and then you put your wallet address in here, look it up, and this will tell you once you start finding shares and stuff. You can see my last share was 1 day ago when I was playing around with it, but you will begin starting to see shares here. It looks like based on, you know, network difficulties and all that stuff, it could take upwards of 2 to 3 to 4 hours, sometimes a day to get one share. Don't be discouraged because you're mining to your own node and everyone else utilizing P2Pool are mining to their own nodes, and you guys are all linked together. So it does take a while to get a share, but one share is worth a lot of weight. And now you are fully decentralized mining with P2Pool. So now I'm going to jump into Windows and just show you how to set that up without HiveOS. All right, so for Windows, it's pretty basic and simple. Also, you're going to want to download the latest version of XMRig, just like what we have for HiveOS there, but it makes it nice and easy. So once you download that, extract it, make a bat file here, and we're going to edit this in Notepad, and this is what it should look like. You're just going to adjust this part right here. This is your IP, and so in my case, 192.168.1.115 with port 3333. Your algorithm is RX/0 and -U here. This is your Monero wallet address, followed by your worker name. So, and then if you want to set your threads, you can see here --threads equals 30. That is your command to set 30s. This is a 16 core, 32 thread CPU. I'm utilizing 30 threads, saving 2 for background usage and stuff. Once you're done with that, simply hit the save button, close it out. Make sure you do have XMRig running as an administrator. So you might have to right click on this, and then you're going to want to utilize properties here. Then you're going to go to compatibility, check mark run this program as an administrator. That way it always runs it off the bat file no matter what. Normally you'd have to right click it and run it if you're running it through a config. So in this case, every time XMRig runs, it will run in admin mode. This is needed to run your huge pages and MSR mod. That will give you a little bit more hash here. So now I'm just going to double click on here. You can see, yes, run as admin. Close out the background one, and now we can see it's loading huge pages and MSR mods and everything. And now we're going to begin getting hash rate. Coming into P2Pool, we should now also have all 30 rigs up and running. So now we can see, or I mean 40. 40 clients are still up. I have a couple of rigs that aren't turned on, but yeah, we can see everything is now mining to P2Pool in both Windows and HiveOS. All right, guys, so that does wrap up this video. The wallet is still not fully synced up, but it's almost there. Anyway, hopefully this video did help you out to get up and mining Monero with your CPUs the most decentralized way possible. This is also 0% fees, so you don't have to pay anyone else for getting your Monero. This is also a little more profitable than mining on pools because you're cutting that fee and middleman out. So hopefully this helped you out. I'll see you on the next one. Rabid out.